Hey, everybody. Mother...
All right. I apologize. I won't do that again.
Hey, everybody. I'm Adam.
I'm Michael.
And today we're going to talk about the very talked about already
Alter ego of you.
Joker. Because we're born in Ohio.
You like how I fit that in? That was actually my boy's. He's like, you got to mention that it's Adam's alter ego.
Joker's my dude.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, he's a pretty crazy fucking dude, but nevertheless, he's my dude.
So we should probably do this one. Are you going to do a
rapid fire?
Yeah. Are you going to do one? Okay. Then you want to spoil on this one or you don't?
Oh, yeah. We're definitely spoiling. We spoil on the podcast.
Yeah.
They can watch the short shit if they don't want spoilers.
Okay. So let me start this off by saying, before we even say either of us liked it, that this movie reminded me of Last Jedi. I'll explain.
Don't explain yet.
You've got a clown running the show.
Don't explain yet.
You're going to giggle. You got a clown running the show, and he's going to ruin everyone's lives. There.
I don't even. What does that even? What does that have to do with
the director for Last Jedi? See how I fit that in? He's the clown running the show, and he ruined a bunch of people's lives.
Okay, that was dumb. I'm sorry. That was just...
Dude, I worked on that. I worked on it in my head.
Well, you should have worked harder.
In my head, it was funny as shit. Kyle will appreciate it.
No, he won't.
Well, fuck you both.
Anyway, which if you haven't heard, you're under a fucking rock. Joker is a character story, basically.
You're actually gonna say, okay, yeah,
a thesis on how someone could become like the Joker. Really, this movie didn't have to be called Joker. It could have been called Arthur. And at the end, he just became Joker.
I might have liked that a little bit more, actually.
Part of me wonders if Todd Phillips had the idea for, this real heavy character story of showing someone kind of go into madness, and he wanted to sell it, but that's not what's selling these days. So he's like, well, he's a Joker.
It does fit.
And they were like, you know what? I like that. Yeah. People liked him. Comic book heroes.
They like it. and fucking refreshing. There's no fucking stupid jokes, CGI shit.
How you feel about this movie, there's such controversy, which is all dumb. We can talk about that in a minute. But even if you don't like this movie, which if you don't, that's fine. It's not for everybody. It's got to feel like a breath of fresh air, even if it's not the air you wanted to breathe.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you.
It's like, there's no cheesy ass jokes. I'm sure there's CGI in the film. It's for some kind of point, but not like egregious CGI for some violence.
Some of the gunshot, like the gunshot, a couple times. I could tell one of them specifically was, but it was done quick, so it was a quick. So
like muzzle flash, typical stuff that you don't really realize, like probably some set extension and shit like that. But no egregious CGI in your face, no major battle, and for the most part, it's a drama. For 85% of the movie, it's a drama.
The story was well crafted.
Yeah.
The cinematography was beautiful.
Oh, yeah. This movie is gorgeous.
Yeah, it is. It's gorgeous.
I like whatever gels or whatever they used while shooting it, or I don't know if it's just color grading in the end. But yeah, it had that. It was obviously emulating Scorsese's earlier work, which I've never really seen all of Taxi Driver. And I've never seen, what was the other one that's based off of the...
See, I forget off the top of my head, but it reminded me a lot of American Psycho in ways.
Parts did too, for me.
Which is a good thing. But no one seemed to have a fucking fit about American Psycho.
Well, it's just the thing. People are so fucking sensitive to everything now. I feel like it's just this big swing in culture right now where I think everyone's trying to overcompensate.
Which it pisses me off a little bit, because the focus should really be on how women were treated and how women are treated. And you start broadening the whole fucking spectrum, and it takes away from what that movement was. And
I don't think this has anything to do with Me Too.
No, but I'm saying,
although
everyone being overly sensitive about everything.
Yeah.
It started, anyway, go on.
Well, and like before.
I'm running for politics.
You're running for politics?
No, Claire said I'd never make it. My record's too bad.
No.
Fuck Actually, you too.
The thing is, no. Look at our president. Anybody can run for politics.
That's true. I'll be sleeveless the whole time too. Just wear like wife beaters. I'm in. Yeah. I'm a shoe-in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely down south. I mean, the big hubbub before this movie came out, people were like, it's going to incite violence. And have you heard of incels? They said it was going to enable incels to want to go hurt people. And incels, I think, are typically described as like just dudes that feel like they've been wronged by women and whatever. And this had nothing to do with that.
The thing is, if you're waiting for that one push in the back to get you moving, anything could have pushed it. This movie alone's not going to do it. So
right,
yeah,
and like this is more a pretty accurate, or at least like, I mean, I don't really know because I don't have firsthand experience, but portrayal of mental illness.
Oh yeah, I thought it was really well done.
Yeah, and Joaquin Phoenix, I mean.
He's just incredible.
Come on.
I can't think of a single film I've ever seen him in that I did not think he was amazing in. I really, really can't think of anything.
Yeah, he's super good. Like, it's funny because, when Heath Ledger was announced as the Joker for The Dark Knight, I was like, fuck, that guy? But that's also because I only knew him from like 10 Things I Hate About You.
Yeah, I never saw
A
that.
Knight's Tale.
I never saw that.
I hadn't seen Brokeback Mountain where
I have. He's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah. So I was like, ugh. And it ended up being fantastic. Yeah. But when they were like, Joaquin Phoenix is Joker, I was like, okay.
Yeah. I immediately was like, okay.
I'm like, yeah.
He would probably have been the only person, unless you somehow convinced Tom Hardy to do it. But that wouldn't fit either. But I'd be like, you know what? He's going to crush it. It's not going to fit what he looks like or anything, but he's going to crush it.
In the comics, there was kind of one version where the Joker was a little bulkier.
Oh, yeah. Which one? I don't care. It doesn't matter.
Anyway, like let's talk about, since we're going to be doing spoilers. I mean, this is the origin story of a Joker.
Yeah.
But I think what's fun about it is a lot of it's left to interpretation. Because
I like that too. Yeah.
Everything except for one scene, I believe, is basically told from Arthur's perspective. And they hit you right early on that Arthur's not all there with it, and he might not be the most reliable narrator
of the story. Yeah,
because when he envisions himself on the late night show that with Murray or whatever his name is,
getting hugged. By the way, I gotta tell you this real quick. Now that you bring that up, thank you. This reminded me. This dumb fuck, like 4 rows down in front of me. Later on, when Robert De Niro's character was making fun of him on the television, you see it in the trailer. Right as soon as that happened, guy yells out, "How the fuck did he not remember him? He was hugging him."
Wow.
And I'm going, are you not getting this at all, dipshit? I mean, he's in the room with his mother. They go to that. He's still in the room with his mom. How did you not immediately, plus everything else you've seen up until this, anyway, I don't think the guy got the film at all. Like,
no.
Go on.
That was lost on him. So he's not a reliable narrator. That goes on further with his relationship that he has with Zazie Beetz, and that didn't really happen. He probably actually had those 2 encounters with her. The first time he met her in the elevator, and then when he's in her apartment, she's like, "Who the fuck are you?"
She's a good-looking woman, by the way.
Yeah,
I mean, she's a good-looking woman.
I'm surprised you never mentioned her when we did Deadpool 2 review back then. See, she was Domino.
I know. I know. I always recognize her, but for some reason, this one, when I was like, "You are really," probably because she didn't have a bunch of makeup and stuff on.
Yeah.
I like the natural.
Now, I have some theories about stuff that may or may not
have happened.
Yeah. And we'll get into that. But the only scene that was shot not from his kind of point of view was, of course, which it felt like a reshoot. Shoe-in, gotta see the Waynes die scene, which I'm fine with because I feel like they needed a resolution to the Thomas Wayne.
That's one of my complaints,
story,
by the way.
I completely understand.
Yeah.
But
You know,
everything else is his point of view.
You know what I wanted? I wanted them to walk out of the theater. You see them slowly walking out of the theater, the three of them, you know? Just turn right, and then they don't show the guy's face standing. You know it's not
You
Arthur.
just hear
but
the gunshots.
You just hear him turn.
You see like the flash.
Even just cut there, and then slowly pace back to what Arthur's currently doing, or Joker at this point, and just leave it. Like don't show it again.
Yeah.
And that irritated me. But go on. But I think you're right. It seemed like the studio at the end was like, look, I love this, but you got to put something on there.
I feel like it could have been like a studio being like, you know, we love what you're doing.
Yeah.
And we know you said this is only going to be like a one and done thing, but I mean, if we put this in there, it could, you know, like,
well, now
leave the
Joaquin
door
Phoenix
open.
yesterday.
Yeah, I know. Like, I was reading, like, they're softening on the, we're not going to do a sequel thing
because it's going to make a ton of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which we kind of knew it was going to.
Yeah.
I mean,
so going by this unreliable narrator thing, what I think is really cool about that is, like, when I originally, like, I was like, Joker origin story, like, I'm on board with the actor, but I don't know that I want this movie.
Yeah.
Primarily because the way that Nolan did it with Ledger, where you don't, like, when he's just a force of nature that you don't know where he came from, that's when I think he's the most frightening.
I was about to say the same thing, yes. And I still, they're completely different Jokers to me.
Yeah, they absolutely are.
And I don't mean like completely different, like Jack Nicholson's. I mean, of course he is too, but I'm saying two amazing portrayals of that.
Yeah.
They're complete. Like, I don't even say one was. I can't tell you. For the Batman version of it, Heath Ledger's always going to be my favorite. I don't think anybody's going to top him.
No.
But for this origin type, I don't think anybody's going to. I don't see how you top Joaquin's ever in it. I really don't see somebody doing it, even if they try to do the same type of thing. It being better.
So I'm going to touch back on that, but I wanted to get back to the sole unreliable narrator thing. So what's interesting about that, and given my qualms about doing an origin, because I don't want to necessarily know what made the Joker, or like make me feel like that's one big thing I hate about a lot of films. They try to humanize the villain a little bit, and which I think is funny because one of the big complaints was like, they're glorifying the actions of this fucking psychopath. It's like, motherfucker, have you watched Marvel films? They humanize the villain every fucking movie.
Yeah, of course they do.
Why is that not bad?
Yeah.
Like, they're purposely letting you, like, oh, I kind of understand why they would do that. Like, Thanos, there's a whole subreddit called, like, Thanos was right.
Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, I don't completely disagree with his theory. I really don't.
But so what saves the whole thing for me, as far as like, I don't want this origin, is because since he's an unreliable narrator, we don't actually know, in my opinion, what in the film happened and what didn't.
Yeah.
Which leaves his origin, like in the comic book, very famously said, his origin or his past is multiple choice. Yeah. And Ledger, his portrayal, did the same thing. He gave two different stories of how he got his scars. So I love that because of how they shot the film and using his mental illness, it gave us that I don't really know what necessarily happened or how things went down. So you can kind of get to decide some things that happened or some things that didn't.
Did you did see what? Why do I keep forgetting? You saw what the director said recently in an interview, right?
Todd Phillips.
Thank you, Phillips. He said that they asked him, you know, if a bunch of questions about how he becomes and what's real and what isn't real. And he said, "How do you even know that's actually Joker? How do you know he's not the guy that inspires the real Joker?" And I love that too. That I want it to be Joaquin Phoenix because he's incredible in it, but at the same time, I completely like that idea of it also. Yeah, because it does fit.
It does fit for sure.
Yeah,
it's a little bit different take, but yeah, I know. Before the movie, like they were like they do take some liberties and this that, and I'm like, and after seeing it, I'm like, what with what? I think they might have been talking about Arthur Fleck might be Bruce Wayne's half brother bit that happened because his mom
Oh yeah,
Her
I
letters.
loved that they started to do that, and then they
were like,
broke
nah.
it down. Yeah,
Like, that bitch is crazy too.
that bitch is yeah, yeah.
Which, that part to me was a little weird. Like, if she was so fucking nuts, how? Well, like, I mean, this is just
How
getting
did she get
like,
a job at the Wayne Mansion in the
well,
first place?
well, not necessarily that. Like, this is just poking holes where just poke holes. It's like, how did she adopt a kid?
Yeah, with mental illness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then she lets her boyfriend like fuck up this kid and
But, you know, I like
chain
that-
him to a radiator. And
I don't believe, obviously, that he's a Wayne's kid from this film version. However, they don't really.
they don't actually tell you
They don't
either way.
Either way, and I kind of
That's
like
another
that
thing
too.
that you can decide, like, well, maybe he is.
Yeah.
Because after he got his mom's medical records that said like, oh yeah, she's batshit,
Yeah.
and he saw the adoption notice and all that stuff. He was later in the film looking at a picture of her, and on the back it was like, cute smile signed TW.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, I liked all that shit. I just wish that Wayne did say when he was in the bathroom when he said I wish he would have said your mom's batshit crazy, because then that makes him. That'd have been gorgeous. Why didn't man? That was.
Oh
that was,
my god.
That'd have been beautiful.
That's almost as good as your joke at the beginning.
Motherfucker. That joke. Okay, first of all, that's not a joke. That's completely serious. What I'm saying is correct about that.
Okay.
An ass clown directed that film, and he ruined people's lives.
I gotcha. Tell me, I know you said you had a few qualms.
I do.
Let them at them.
Are you gonna sit here and tear me apart on it? Because
No.
you can disagree, but it's
I can disagree.
it's my perspective.
Sure.
Instead of me saying Last Jedi is a shit movie, which it is, and I will fight to the teeth on it, this I can leave it open to the viewer.
Gimme.
I had problems with the music at times. There's 2 times I had issues. Like most of the time, like 80% of the time that they had music playing whenever he was doing something, bathroom scene, beautiful. Whoever choice that was.
Did you have a problem with the basketball?
It was that one, and I had a problem with they did 2 songs when he's on the stairwell coming down. Mm-hmm. The jazz one that started it, I'm like, that doesn't fit.
It transitioned
and
into
it transitioned
the regular
to
score.
Which I'm like, okay, not necessarily play that whole score the whole time. I did not like. It took me out of the picture. I mean, it took me out of the film. And anytime I see something or hear something that takes me out, you fucked up somehow, because I'm not there on the stairwell with him now.
Yeah.
But that jazz beat it didn't fit at that moment for his transformation now and where he's going. Right before he sees the detectives. It was like, before they see him and he takes off. That really fucking bothered me. And the basket. Yeah, there was just 2 music choices, and I'm like,
that's fair.
It bothered me, like, big time.
I thought the basketball one was out of place. The stairs didn't bother me.
It bothered me.
I thought the transition from the jazz to the score.
The transition worked. I'm sorry. No, I thought that was too hard. But it's like the thing with the jazz thing was, I'm like, the jazz fits. Just why this song with so many trumpet beats so loud that doesn't seem to fit what he's doing?
Okay.
And
give me another one. What else?
The other one was the one I already mentioned.
Thomas Wayne and the Wayne's dying?
Yeah, that bothered the shit out of me. Don't show it. And there was one more thing.
Don't do that.
Oh, sorry. I don't want you. Don't fix that later. Leave it on there for the listeners. I can't think what it is right now. Go ahead and talk about something. Tell me something. It'll trigger it. Whatever you're gonna say will trigger it.
Okay.
What the fuck was it? Oh, I know what it was. I get that they're in Gotham.
Yeah.
Mention it once. Quit mentioning they're in Gotham like 5-6 times.
I don't even recall.
There were 2.
Was it like the news?
The news things kept saying in Gotham, and they would show something. I know it's in that universe. I know it's in that space.
If you just watch the news, like here, they say where it is all the time.
It got to the point where I'm like,
it's like, you're number 1 news for the tri-state. You know how many times you hear tri-state? You turn on the fucking news here.
I understand it.
That's just reality.
But when we're watching a film, I want to be taken away from the shittiness of life and give me something that's a little more the way I want it to be.
And this was how you want the world to be?
Yes. Stop fucking punching me in the face that we're in the DC world, okay? Because whenever you make me
The thing
feel like
is-
I'm in the DC world, I'm thinking I'm watching some fucking
Okay.
Justice League piece of shit film.
Well, that's just weird because it is in the DC world, but there's nothing over the top to me about
Too much Gotham.
They're in Gotham.
Too much Gotham.
People weren't wearing shirts that say like "I heart Gotham" like they do like in New York. I heart NY.
You know what? I mean, they might as well have. People
No.
were saying Gotham and in Gotham and Gotham's fine and Gotham and the clown.
Okay. Somebody listening, go see the movie. Count many times they say Gotham, and then tell Mike he's a fucking idiot.
No, I'm not an idiot. It's too much Gotham.
Okay, my turn.
I know you're there. All right? I fucking
Jesus
know you're
Christ.
there. How many times is Spider-Man? What the fuck am I saying? How many times is Spider-Man or Peter Parker mentioned that they're in New York? Like once or twice ever in the whole fucking film. We know you're in New York. And not just because what you're seeing, most of it's in alleys half the time or flying around some dipshit stuff. My point is, you don't. All right? Fucking quit. I know you're in Gotham. This is me nitpicking. Other than that, the film is the more it sat on me, the more I was just like gushing over it even more, just thinking back on it. But
Yeah.
this is me nitpicking. If I'm gonna nitpick, stop with the Gotham shit and fix 2 your music cues. Most part.
Okay. Couple things that I didn't care for.
Yeah.
So I know part of the complaint, like I've already mentioned, people saying this is glorifying this man, which he did incite, a riot.
He does.
By his actions.
Sure.
Because for people who say this movie doesn't have anything to say, it's saying a lot. It's
saying a lot.
It's talking a lot about basically class warfare, the state of mental illness, how we treat mental illness,
Yeah.
the role of society in how we deal with mental illness, healthcare. All this is like
All of it, yeah.
seeded into
It's
that.
it's
And maybe it's because it's basically posing that, like saying like, look at all this stuff. And it's like basically asking you to talk about it versus offering any solution. I don't know if that's what,
Right.
but fuck off. But going on that, there was a very, toward the end of the scene that basically made it look like people were like, yeah, this guy's great. After he had just,
You mean when he stands up in the car?
yeah, when they
lift-
lovingly pull him out of the police car,
That was weird.
sit him on top,
That felt
and
very
then he stands up and
Tim
gives,
Burton's Joker. That moment. I'm trying to say because the way that they're very, you know how he always had his goons around him,
Yeah.
and like for Jack Nicholson, they'd always be like and helping him through
Yeah.
stuff and being really kind, and that was weird. But go
Yeah.
on.
and I mean that did lead, and they're all cheering him. So
I think that was a little
For
bit in his mind too, kind of.
I do too.
Yeah.
because he is a narcissist.
And he was had trauma and everything else, but yes, I
Oh, yeah,
agree.
And like and earlier when he did his stand up, like when it transitioned, like he could hear applause and like all this
I
great
loved
stuff.
all that. Yeah.
And so that could really have been him just like imagining himself like being the hero of the situation, although the class warfare thing was happening.
Right.
And his killing of the 3 like stockbroker dude bros kind of incited this.
How did you feel about that?
I thought the scene was fine except for the fact that dude started singing "Send in the Clowns."
Yeah.
That was weird. That's one of my complaints.
That was weird. Thank you. That was actually, I didn't like that either. Thank you. I forgot about that.
But like I said, like with them like delivering him in the car, a lot of my qualms I can basically say, well, that was in his head. And it doesn't bother me as much.
That's the way that they did the film, which makes
know,
it.
which
And I said that's
I
why
think
the
it's
more
amazing.
it sat on me, the more my grade kept going up.
Yeah.
Because the more I kept thinking about everything.
And that scene where they put him on the car and he stands up, it at least led to the amazing blood smile.
Oh yeah.
To me, that was him. Like that was like, okay, I'm the Joker. The other thing I didn't like, and it has to do with Zazie Beetz' character. I mean, she was kind of like, obviously she wasn't there, and they beat you over the head with it. I hated that.
Yeah.
Where they had to show like, oh, she wasn't actually there. They
Yeah,
went
when they
back and
did
did
the
a
whole.
Fight
I
Club
wish they didn't
moment.
do that. Yeah.
Because to me, like as after their first encounter, their second encounter, when she was like, "Were you following me?" And he was like,
I wonder if they did
"Yeah."
test audiences, and some test audiences they asked questions and people didn't get it, and maybe that's why
Maybe.
they did that.
Because as soon as she was like okay with it, I was like, okay, this isn't actually happening.
Yeah.
I knew immediately.
Right. No, I knew.
So
Yeah,
when
so
they did
right,
that
right.
reveal, I was like, all it needed to be was her being like, aren't you Arthur from down the hall? Why
Right.
are you in my
I thought that was
apartment?
enough. As soon as she said, yeah, exactly. As soon as she said that, I'm like, there's your cue that none of it was actually real
Right.
anyway.
And to go on that a little bit more, the scenes that she was in. Now, I feel like she was acting basically as Arthur's conscience. Like that was actually
Sure.
kind of keeping him a little level.
Yeah.
But she was so sparingly used, and I know because she wasn't there, like they were not showing her interact with people, and I know that's a bit of a dance to play if you do longer scenes, but I feel like that just because of how unrealistic it was and how underutilized it was is why I was like, okay, none of that's real. So
Right.
that was kind of a problem for me, but at the same time, they really almost didn't even need that arc at all. Because you already know he's batshit. And you already know. I think that was just there to be over the top. This dude
Can I tell you
is
what?
not seeing things right.
I actually liked it for this reason. It reminded me, I thought it would be a setup mentally for him of why he eventually needs a Harley Quinn. So I thought I saw it that way.
Okay.
Like it shows that
That's
he
an
does
interesting standpoint.
want someone. So
I mean, I don't have a problem with it overall.
Sure.
I'm just saying.
No, this
if
is us
they coulda-
nitpicking
If
it,
they could
yeah.
have cut something, they could have cut that.
yeah.
But for me, hands down, the most I'm done with things I don't like. Hands down the most Joker scene. I wonder if you agree. Is when his two buddies come to check on him after they found out his mom died.
Oh yeah.
When he had just painted his face white, looks creepy as shit.
It does.
And just that whole, like he was being playful, but there was this fucking tension, and then there was just a jolt of intense violence.
I honest to God did not know whether he was going to let the little guy go or not.
Which
was great.
when you watch it, and it's like he had locked that chain, and it's like, did he do that on purpose?
Right. I loved that. I love
To
that. whole
know
thing.
that the little guy couldn't reach it.
Yeah.
But it's like that's the amazing chaotic thing about the characters. Like you don't really know what he's gonna do.
Yeah.
And in the end, he's like, you know what? You're the only one that was ever nice to me. Gave him a kiss on the forehead and said, go on.
Yeah. I'm not going to hurt you.
I love that when they come in like, why is your face painted? He's like, oh, I'm celebrating. My mom's dead.
Yeah.
I will say that when he's like fully actualized Joker, when he goes on the Murray's Tonight, I'm going to keep on like the Murray's Tonight show. I don't know that I was really vibing with how he did it. He was very, it's weird because he was kind of flamboyant.
Yeah.
But he still spoke very meekly
Yeah.
until he was, obviously this movie is a comment on how society and treats mental illness and ignoring it. And like, there's so much stuff about mental illness right now. Like when he hits that nail on the head, which, it was a little bit over the top because I already got what the thesis was.
Yeah.
When he started yelling at him, I was like, okay, that's a little more in the right tone. Are you serious?
I didn't mean to. I forgot to do this. Shit. Apologies.
It's fine.
Go on.
But his little meekness and little flamboyancy, it was a little bit different take.
Yeah.
And I wasn't quite sure if I liked it.
I felt it felt like to me that scene felt like it was almost like a different movie that I've been watching all along. So I do agree with you.
Right. And then the final scene of him talking to a therapist in a mental institute, Arkham Asylum, we'll call it, is what kind of really sells the idea that I'm not really sure how much of this was real on many accounts, because he's thinking back and he's like laughing to himself. And she's like, what are you laughing at? He's like, I just thought of a joke. And he's envisioning Bruce standing over his dead parents.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you wouldn't get it. Now it's like, he could be imagining like, oh, I wonder if this thing I did is the reason why his parents died. That'd be pretty funny.
Yeah.
Or man, it's pretty funny that Thomas Wayne basically made me an orphan, and now I orphaned my half brother. Like, if he still thinks that, like, there's so many takes on that.
Yeah.
And then me and Kyle were discussing is like his new therapist is an African American woman, short cropped hair.
Mm-hmm.
So was his therapist in the beginning at the social services. And when he had his meeting with her, like at the very beginning of the movie, it showed him, like, when she was talking about his time in the mental institute, banging his head on the glass, wearing the same get up in a white room.
Yeah.
And this goes into my theory about what could be true and what could not be true, potentially.
Yeah.
Because he was banging his head. And there are other points in the movie where he bangs his head on something.
Right.
And I'm wondering, like, if certain moments, like when he bangs his head, like, it's either in between bangs, like, is like not real, or if that's like some kind of cue.
Sure.
Like, and it's almost like he was banging his head, and it's like either jarring memories or like he's making stuff up in between, and then it ends, and it's still in that same mental hospital.
Yeah.
And he's talking to this new lady. I don't know. That's what's great about it.
That's what's great about it.
You can talk about it and just wonder, like, how much of it was fucking real or not.
Yeah.
And it obviously looked like there was a time jump when in that last scene. He looked a little different.
He did.
He looked a little like he'd gained a little bit more weight back.
Yeah.
And stuff. It almost makes me wonder, like, if that's actually more modern day, and by that time Bruce might already be starting to be Batman. Yeah. He's just thinking back to it and like, huh, that's funny. I might have made that guy.
Yeah, I like that.
The movie could have ended right there, though, when he said you wouldn't get it.
Yeah.
And it should have.
It should have. I agree.
Yeah.
It should have ended right there.
I wasn't necessarily... one other quick thing. I wasn't necessarily on board with, like, all the dancing he did. Like, that was a weird kind of thing.
Sometimes I didn't... Yeah, sometimes it felt weird.
Well, when he went to the bathroom after he first had his first 3 kills...
I love that, though.
I mean, it's a beautiful
like
scene, but, like, I hadn't caught on to the point where he kind of dances to relax himself.
He does, but it reminded me of Silence of the Lambs after he kills him in the cage in the museum. And I was like, yes. So he hears this music in his head, and he's doing... I loved that.
I thought he was almost like doing... What's that martial arts where you're just doing the movements?
Tai Chi? Tai Chi.
Okay. I thought he was just doing Tai Chi to center himself.
Okay. Yeah.
But I know you probably got to get out of here soon, don't you?
What?
Oh yeah, you got to get out. Let's wrap this bad boy up. So Joker, see it. Don't buy into the bullshit that people are talking about. Watch it for yourself. It's like, come on. Like I saw the Lady Ghostbuster film, even though all the incel hate against it before it came out. I thought the cast was perfectly cast for the roles, but then I saw it and it was bad.
Yeah.
So make up your mind yourself. Don't listen to shit beforehand, unless it's coming from like somebody you really respect.
I went and saw fucking Rambo. So.
And that dude on YouTube called you a pussy bitch.
I know.
You pussy bitch.
Sorry, I didn't like your movie, dude.
I bet you would like cats.
I'm sure Rambo's still riding horses and training them, so you'll be all right.
Yeah. Yeah. I give it a solid A. Definitely not a movie you'd want to watch like a lot, but definitely a movie that I think you should see.
I'll watch it. I will watch it a few more times eventually. Just but pace it out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's gonna be some. If you're sensitive to it, some of it's a little unsettling, just because you don't want to see the realism behind how people can be.
Yeah. I think that's what got a lot of people.
I think
because it was so realistically portrayed and it was gritty, and the gunshots didn't look CG. Like the blood didn't look. It looked like old like school squibs.
Right.
So it looked more like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And it was not glorified. It was just like, that's how violence looks.
Yeah.
Like there was no slow motion shot. Like it was just.
It was dirty.
It's dirty.
Yeah.
And it makes you feel gross.
Yeah.
But, I mean, fuck, it was a good movie.
It was very, very good. I agree with your grade. I give it an A.
Ooh.
I know.
Double A.
I got to be honest with you. I left the theater. I gave it a B+.
And then
But
it worked
kept,
on you,
but it
right?
just kept going. I'm like, God, that was so good.
Just
and
kept coming
think
up
of
like
all the
your
possibilities. Oh yeah, the ointment didn't help. All right. Until next time, thank you for listening. Sorry, I'm a pussy bitch. Keep rubbing those nipples and your earlobes because we're born in Ohio.
Hey, if you like what you just saw, we'd appreciate a like and subscribe because, that helps us. And don't you want to help us? Look at him. He needs help. Hit that. Hit it. Hit it. Hit it hard. Hard. And then comment about how hard you hit it.